Hey, welcome to this song lesson on Brown Eyed Girl, Van Morrison's classic song. Hey, there is a PDF that goes along with this lesson. It's got a couple of different versions of the song, and so make sure and download that. The link is in the YouTube description down below. And if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. Van Morrison, the great Irish songwriter, came over here. It was in 1967 that this song was recorded, in March of 1967. And by his own admission, he signed a contract that wasn't a good contract, wasn't looked over, and by his own admission, he has never made a dime from the recording of this song or the print music of the writing of this song. Just from he got royally rooked over by the record company for this song. So he hasn't made. It ended up becoming his signature song. It's one of the poster child stories for getting good contracts of your creative content. So that was in 1967 we did it. It ended up, he did it. It ended up being on the Rolling Stone list of, I think it made like number 21 of the 100 greatest pop songs of all time. It is still the most downloaded song from the 1960s era on the Billboard chart. So it's amazing. It's an amazing song. So it's got some great guitar parts in it. So let's dive right into it. We're just going to start right into it. There's a couple of versions of the song that I've got in the PDF. So if you can go ahead and look at that, it's all based around thirds and sixths. The song is in the key of G. The tempo is 150 beats per minute, going pretty quick. Now there's a practice track I included in the YouTube description down below. It's a YouTube track. Now remember, you can always slow that down as you're practicing this as well. So take a look at page 1 of the PDF, and let's first look at what this is based off of. This is based off of the interval of a third in the key of G. That would be a G and a B. And if I flip that and I put the B on the bottom, it becomes a sixth, an interval of a sixth. So a third and a sixth is actually like the same, just two different sides of the same coin. It's the same notes, just in different octaves of each other. So before we get to the licks of the song, here's a good place to start. Right here, look at the bottom of page 1 there. We're just going to do a little bit of thirds in G, just up a couple of notes and back. This is going to help you as we get actually into the song. So we're going to come up here to the 7th position. We're going to put our first finger here at the 7th position. And we're just going to go, just for our purposes right now, we're going to take that first finger. We're going to go up to the 8th with our first finger, up to the 10th with our first finger. So we're just going to go with our first finger. Then we're going to add our second finger to get 2 and 1, and then 3 and 1, third finger and first finger. And then we go up to the 10th, it's another 3 and 1. So if we just do that back and forth, 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, 2 and 1, or 3 and 1, 2 and 1. Now, of course, if we did the whole scale up in thirds, it would go all the way up the guitar, but in this song, it actually just goes up 3 steps and back. Put the right rhythm with that. Second finger is that G. So if I wanted to move this to another key, let's say the key of C, I do the same thing. First finger, up 1, then up 2, 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, back and forth, and then I would be doing it in C. So now the flip of the thirds are sixths. So lots of licks in this song use sixths. So let's look at those for a second. If I take the G and put it on top and come over here to the first string down here at the 3rd fret, and I maybe just go up 5 steps of the scale, maybe. So 3rd fret, 2 steps up, 2 steps up, then just 1 step, then 2 steps, and back down. 2 and 1, and then I go 2 and I put my 3rd finger here All of this is notated out there. The little circle numbers are the where your fingers should be. Then I move that up 2 frets to the 7th fret. Then I go back to my 2 and 1 position at the 8th fret. Then up 2 more. And then I just walk that back down. So if I took that up and down, those 6th up and down, it would be like this. All right, so we've got 3rds and we've got 6th. Hey, let's dive into the song. All right. Hey, take a look at the first version of it. On page 2, it has the little opening lick. So let's talk about the opening lick here. Now, the opening lick, like we talked about before, I've got my first finger up here at the 7th fret, and I'm going to do these 3rds. Remember, it was the 7th, the 8th, and the 10th with our first finger, and then 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1. I do that lick, and the timing is 1, 2, again, go. That's the timing of it. Now, just to make it simple, go up here to the 12th fret, and we're going to do the exact same pattern. 2 and 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1, just up and back. Now, if you're on an acoustic that doesn't have a cutaway, you're kind of up here in the stratosphere. So it helps to have a cutaway when you're doing this particular song. It just gets that high. So we've got those 2 licks back and forth. This one at the 7th fret, and then we go up to the 12th fret and do the exact same thing. Then we go back down to the 7th fret just like we did and play that again. Now, here it changes a little bit. So I'm going to put my first finger for this 4th measure on the 3rd string, 7th fret, and I'm going to put my pinky on the 2nd fret, or 2nd string of the 10th fret. Big stretch, a D and an A, D and an A. I hit those 2 together, and then I just go first finger on the 2nd string, 2nd finger on the 2nd string, 8th fret, pinky. So I hit the 2 first, then 1, 2, 4. Okay, so just that little lick in that 4th measure is. All right, let's see if we can put it all together. The first one starts in the 7th position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 12th position. Then 7th position. Double notes. Then 1, 2, 4. Do it again. That's the famous, iconic opening lick there. Now, there's multiple guitars happening in the song, so if you're just playing, this is one of the classic songs that you need to always kind of have in your back pocket for jams and things like that. So if you're just doing a normal jam situation, you'd probably just be playing open chords, and that's what I have here on this first version of it, where I have basic chords. So it's just a G, and I would be doing a strumming pattern that's kind of down, down, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, up. That's the pattern. So if we just get that going. And I'm going to be going between 4 different chords. A G, a C, a D, 7th, back to a G, and then a little bit later on in the song, in the pre-chorus, you do have one quick little E minor in there. Sometimes you'll see D, sometimes you'll see D7. Most of the time, for just normal jamming and playing along, stuff like that, you can kind of use them interchangeably, the D or the D7th in there. All right, so let's look at the verse section. How the song goes is we do that intro lick twice. It's a 4-bar lick, so we do that twice for 8 measures. Then we do this verse. And so if we looked at it on the page, it's 16 bars. And then we do the pre-chorus, which is this little section of music, 8 bars long, that usually happens before the chorus. But in this first time through, you'll notice there's a little first ending there at the end of the 4th line there, and it says go back to the verse. So we would repeat back and we do that verse again. And so we would play that again. This time we go all the way through, we do the pre-chorus, we take the second ending, We're on the D7. Do you remember when we used to sing? And then we go into the chorus. C, G, D7, does that a few times. Then we get to this interlude section where we hang out on G for a couple bars, and then it's a bass lick. And then it's just bass and drums basically through the intro, changes one time, and then it says DS al fine. Fine. In music, that means you would go back to the sign. The sign is at measure 5, the second line of the first page, and it's got a little squiggly thing with 2 dots and a line through it. That's the sign in music. And so you would jump back there, and this time I would play through the verse and the pre-chorus, get to the third ending, which is measure 29, play through the chorus, and on the recording it does it a couple times and fades out. You just do the chorus a couple times and fades out. So there you go. All right, so if we were playing the verse, let's play the verse. Or actually, let's get one more practice on that intro. And then we'll go into the verse. 1, 2, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, intro. 12th position. Back to 7th. Double notes. Then it does it again. And it just strums down, up, C, G, D7, C, G, D7, and it goes through it. So we're going to turn on the track, and we're going to probably won't play through the whole song, but we'll get you at least to the DS, and you try and play along with me if you can. Here we go. Here's the track, and we're going to do the basic chord version. Verse. Pre-chorus. Back to the verse. Now we're at the pre-chorus. Brown-eyed girl. Now we're going to take the second ending, measure 29 here, and kind of fill it up. 1, 2, ready, chorus. La 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 la. Interlude, and it's just the bass. Then it goes back to the verse, and we're into it from there. All right, there you go. That's the basic version. If you were just playing this at a jam session or something like that, that's all you would really need to do. Just good old open strum chords using that strumming pattern and learn that little lick, and that you'll be great. Now, if you want to go to the next level, if you want to play a little bit more advanced, flip over the page. And let's go to page 4 and see what's happening here. In the actual recording, you've got a couple of different guitar parts that are happening there. One of them is just kind of this jangly strumming that's happening on acoustic in the background, but the other one is this part that uses a lot of thirds and sixths and things like that. So I tried to kind of at least notate what's going on. Now in the studio, you don't want 2 guitar players playing the same thing. So when we get to the verse, and we're doing the other guitar player is playing an open G, then this guitar player would be doing some sort of an inversion. The other guitar player is strumming. So this guitar player is going to be doing kind of an arpeggiated pattern with on maybe just a little G like this. This is the first chord of measure 5. So I've got, if you want to think of it, I've got kind of the upper half of a barred G, just the top 4 strings. And I'm going to do just kind of an arpeggiated picking pattern. Maybe I could even add some other notes in there. Really, the only thing I can do is maybe add the pinky on the first string at the 5th fret, pinky on the 2nd string at the 2nd string, if you wanted to. It's not really in there, but if you wanted to add a little something to it, basically it's just an arpeggiated part. Now, if I go down to the C, I don't mind if you put your 3rd finger on that, but basically he's trying to stay around the top. So he's going to do the top 4 strings there, maybe even add this high G as an extra note in there. Just something like that. And remember, you're still arpeggiating. Back to the G. Now for the D7th, he does this little lick in 6th. It's the exact walk down of what we did over on page 1. We're going to slide up to this first note from the E to the F sharp. D and an F sharp, 1st and 2nd finger at the 10th fret, 1st and 2nd finger at the 8th fret, 2nd and 3rd finger at the 7th, 2nd and 3rd finger at the 5th, 2nd and 1st finger at the 3rd. If you're wondering where's the finger numbers, it's exactly the same pattern that it was on the first page. So, and you're just changing the rhythm up. Maybe you're sliding up to the upper note. In a lesson a while back, we talked about how 6th kind of give it this calypso sound, kind of give it this Caribbean sort of sound. Here's a perfect example of that. This song's moving pretty quick, but we're still able to get that calypso sound by just wobbling around on 6th. That's a good little walk down from a 5 chord, the D7, down to a 1 chord. You can do that in all kinds of keys. Hey, here's a fun one just for free. If you wanted to go up, you can go the opposite direction and go up. Just another option with 6th. All right, so he does that little lick. Then he's back to the C chord. On this D7th, well, there's some other notes that you could play there. Maybe you could just take this 3rd finger off and on. Just kind of moving one note around in these chord forms. Measure 13, it goes back to a G chord, but just to keep that calypso thing, you'll hear the guitar going up in 6th. Same rhythm as we did in 3rds up here. But now I'm just doing it in 6th. And then he goes back up to the C. Does this lick again. Down to the D7. Now, I'm not making this stuff up. This is what the 2nd guitar player, these are the voicings that he's using here. Remember, he's trying to stay away from the open voicings that are happening with the acoustic guitar, trying to get a different sound. It's one of the things we do a lot of in the studio. When we get to the pre-chorus, he's back to the C, maybe adding a few little his extra G there. If he's just playing and arpeggiating, I'm not even really notating that, I'm just giving the chord form. And then he gives you this G, walk down to the E minor there, and I wrote that out there in measure 23. And here's our walk down, the last measure of that first page there, D7, walking right down. And I walk right back to the verse. Now he does some other licks, the other times he plays it, but this is the first time through, so I thought I would kind of show you what's going on. Here's an idea. Get the track and experiment with your stuff with these ideas on your own. melodies of your own. It's a good way to practice and learn these thirds and sixths. Second time he comes through the top of the page 5, he's on this D7, but now the chorus, he's not doing these thirds and sixths anymore, but he wants to do something different than what the other guitar player is doing. So for the G, he does a bar G. For the C, you can do that one, or this one maybe. C. For the G, for the D7, he does this kind of inner part. So you notice right here, he's not, if you listen to the recording, he's not trying to stick out. He's trying to blend back in with what's going on. When he's doing the upper sixth and things, he's sticking out, but when we get to the chorus, he wants to blend back in. So he's doing all these lower. The other guitar strumming, he's continuing his little arpeggiated pattern. Hang around on the lower strings. Now he goes back in the interlude, measure 40, he does this little lick, jumps up to the top of the sixth, and then he just wants to do it lower, so he has a G and a D, first finger and third finger there. Just to kind of give a little bit of a pull back to there. So that lick at 40 and 41 is, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes to the bass. That lick again, measure 40, 41, 2, 3, 4. And then it's to the bass lick. After that, it pretty much just reads normally, and he's doing some various licks on the end. Woo! So that's how that goes. So we're going to turn on the track again, and this time I'm going to try and play what that second guitar player is doing. He's actually the one that plays that opening lick. So here we go. Here we go. Let's see if we can play this second part together with the track. 2, ready, go. Arpeggiating this. Pre-chorus. Back to the verse. Pre-chorus. Second and in. He just kind of blends in here. And then we go to the bass. All right. Whew, that's a great little lesson on Brown-Eyed Girl. Hey, if it's going too fast, and it is going at a pretty good clip, you can take that practice track, remember, and go down to the settings in YouTube, and you can slow it down so that you can work on it at the pace that you need to. Hope you have fun learning this great song. And don't just learn the licks. Anybody can learn the licks. Learn what's actually going on, what he's doing, and what he's doing is that's thirds and sixth. If you learn the seeds that make up the lick, then you can apply it in a bunch of different songs. If I'm in the key of E, I can do it in E, I can do it in A, I can do it in other keys. So don't just learn the lick, learn what makes that lick work. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Keep up the great work in your own guitar learning, and we will see you next time.